So, formatting changed because different advice. Look, I saw this one post and it was on Young People Reddit, and this one wasn't even just like a cringy kid. It was a literal kid doing something on Reddit. Like it was 12-year-old, and he was doing some liminal stuff, and it was his first one. The comments were just nonstop hate. Like, look at this. This is a good spot for that. Desaturated a bit. It's good. And then static. He just added something more. That's good. And he actually says he's 12 right there, and it's his first one. And people, I was in science class yesterday, and we were doing an experiment where you had to do something and then do it again, but change one little thing and see how different the result would be. And I was gonna do something where I would ask some people a question, because when you're in an argument, sometimes people will get their point across by asking you a question and then adding something before it, so you subconsciously make a new answer that's on their side, even if it's not factually correct. And you'll probably catch it. But if you're not in an argument, they might not. And they start to think in that direction of what you've just pointed them to. So I was thinking of like asking some people a question, then asking other people a question by saying something before it and seeing how different the majority of each are. If you say your age on the internet and you're a child, people are instantly gonna go, oh, he's young, he's uneducated, he hasn't been here long enough to learn about this stuff. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, they'll look at all the bad stuff, like, oh, this is just some random kid's place. Oh, desaturated. Yo, that's very cringy. You had the monster. Oh, this is bad. He's trying his best. It's his first one, and he did pretty good. Don't shame the kid for being a kid. Something I really like on the internet is seeing elderly people or a kid doing something that the normal demographic would usually do. Because you usually see like someone in their late teens or a young adult posting a bunch of stuff. I like it when it's not that big, because it shows the internet can be accessible to anyone, and most people don't support children or elderly on the internet. So it's nice to see them proud of actually doing that stuff. And for an adult, the reason young adults do it a lot, or people in their late teens, is because they saw the stuff on the internet as it started. They saw the start of a liminal space, and they had to keep waiting for more stuff of liminal spaces to show up to get an idea of the community. And they had to make their own stuff in the meantime, and that added to the story. Meanwhile, a child does it. They show up into this world on the internet, like during the middle of it all happening. So they have a bunch of pre-made resources. They get the actual story instead of getting a confused teenager to do it. They've been there long enough to, they're there at a point where they have a bunch of stuff to look at, they have a bunch of time to learn from it, and make something good from it. A child would be great at a liminal space. He chose a good spot. It looks very liminal. You get a sense of uneeriness. A sense of uneasiness. It's eerie. Uneeriness is not a word. It's eerie. It makes you uneasy. It looks familiar. And it looks slightly run down and old. That's what a liminal space should be. He did it good. He did a good job. We shouldn't just be hating on children just because they're younger. There's no reason to do that. Like, they have more time to learn from stuff already there. Like, if you are in the middle of World War II, because, like, right now, we are in the time where we saw the Ukrainian war start. This is a weird reference to go on, but we saw it going on. We don't know how the story's gonna end. We don't know how it will go. We are in the middle of history happening right now, and my friend Anthony said, it's proven what's gonna happen. We know the end of the story. America's gonna show up and win it for Ukraine. We don't know that. If they would have done that, they would have done it by now. But we're doing bad right now, ourselves. Not as bad as Ukraine, but we're not able to help. We don't know what's happening. The people in the future get the whole story in history class and know how it ends sooner of them learning it than us. They learn it in a week, we're gonna learn it in like 4 years. We don't know the end of it. And that child is like the one at the end of history. They're able to learn about the resources and what happens there. They know how the stories will go, how liminal space usually is, and are able to make a good thing. Meanwhile, young adults on the internet were young teens when it started happening, and they didn't get a full sense of the story, so they morphed it a bit because they wanted to make some stuff sooner to show their friends, yo, look, this cool, creepy looking place. And they make the story a bit weirder, a bit worse, not entirely correct to how it would be nowadays, which is the finite idea that can be changed all the time. It's meant to be creativeness on a certain line. Like, imagine sheet music. You're on a certain line. You can do whatever you want. Put weird keys like this. Put them anywhere. But it stays on this line. Nowhere else. Not here. We stay here. We're talking about the right hand. We're there. I don't know if the camera was pointed at it very well. I can't see. But it's supposed to be that. And they're able to see the whole thing and know how to adapt to it. So they know more without seeing the whole thing. They learn it in a shorter time span than everyone else, because this is on the internet. This isn't a war. We will learn the end of the Ukrainian war in a few years. People in the future will learn it in a week. People back then, at the start of the backrooms, had, to this day, we're still trying to figure out, a coherent thing. Stories change for the backrooms, which have caused liminal space. The backrooms is messed up, but we still got some sort of a story now from the original ones. And he is there, learning it in a shorter time span than everyone else, having to see the whole thing as it showed up more and more, with more people posting about it over time. Took them longer. And he's able to learn about all of it in a day. He knows what to do. Don't hate on him.